One track mind always. One track mind always. Ushers my brain like an old ball and chain. One track mind always. One track mind always heeds to the cause, shows no remorse. On a high-speed rail train with a whip to my back, I'm gonna outrun your dawn. I can't promise you that, because the first time is the last time, and it's time to move on. You are nothing to me, the dead song of a swan. One track mind always. One track mind always. Dresses in black when the deck has been stacked. Just can't part in that shuffle. On a high-flying jet, yes, and higher still yet, I'm gonna outshine your sun all while watching it set. And in the fire I breathe, there is a power that sees. You built quite a prison, but could not hold me for the long haul. Now for the long haul, I've driven you down.
Hello everyone, I'm Rick Wiles. I've been the tournament director for the R.P.A. Memorial for the past 30 years. Where I'm standing is the house that Bobby and Jean Watts once lived in. And this actually is where it all started for the R.P.A. because in 1976, some caring parents decided to do something to their community and put a basketball court in the park. What I want to do tonight, I want to take you back in time and I want to relive some of the moments that's happened and give you an idea of where we've come from and where we are today. And I want you to remember two things. I want you to remember the name Jefferson Park, and I want you to remember the name Ronnie Paulangelo.
In '76, my parents decided they wanted to do something good for the community that will give the children something to do with their time to keep them out of trouble. My brother had passed away, and they wanted to do something to honor him. So, with the help of the community, they took and put the basketball court across the street from our house. And from the get-go, it was a great success and made my parents and my family very happy.
Well, you know, we all grew up out there, you know, we all have things now and everything, but back then, what the Wattses did back then was a really a great thing. I mean, you know, we didn't have electronics and computers and stuff back then. They built that court, and it was a great thing at that time. You know, it was needed. You didn't have courts like we're sitting here right now in everyone's backyard and everything. So, you know, if you couldn't get in the Benson gym, you didn't know anybody. Back in those days, you either went down to Dreamland and played, and you didn't get to play much when you went down there. But you know, it was great timing as far as the court and what they did during that time. And I can assure you one thing, it kept a lot of kids out of trouble. And you're looking at one of them.
One of the main ideas for the installation of the court there, give kids a place to go, to have some good, clean fun and not get in trouble. So that part of it was gratifying for us. And then, of course, over the 20 some odd years that we were involved with it, the friendships that we developed, you know, with everybody that's been out here tonight and others, you know, that kind of stuff you can't put a value on. But we enjoyed what we did and enjoyed, of course, working with Rick and the rest of the brothers and everybody else involved. I was saddened to hear that this was going to be the last year for the 3-on-3.
I remember basically the tournament started basically the rate 86.
So the court was already established.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember that means basically it was a place that you went and played. I mean, you went to Vincent, you went and played basketball. As simple as that. But basically the court, you know, the best I remember, the court was in disrepair, and it was a way of us to raise some money to fix the baskets and do that type of stuff. So kind of how it started, I mean.
The beginning was the small court and then enlarging and building the new court. The new court, Woodsy. Me and Woodsy were down there like on my days off when I was firefighter. Yeah. So we were down there and Woodsy had the backhoe. We dug and dug and dug. The thing is, we dug it too deep. We had to put like 8 inches of gravel in or something. And that was just to get it up to where we poured 5.5 inches of concrete.
I can remember back being a kid and going to the court as a kid when it was built. I grew up on Waco Road, just around the corner from the court, and so when it was there, a lot of kids in the neighborhood, we would go down and we had somewhere to play, cut through the alley and right across Spring Valley Drive, and it was pretty nice when it got built then. You know, at that point, tournament wasn't a thought. It wasn't really anything other than a place to go play.
My earliest memories was when they just had the one court, the small, before they put in the second one. Just the one court, and of course I remember going there when I was younger, like to the tournaments and things, but then when my friends started playing there, and even people a little bit older than me, there were good players that played there, like Kevin Wells. I mean, he was a good basketball player, and Sean Jackson, Joe DeBurgess. I mean, you had good players, and that's why people went out there to watch, you know, good basketball players.
As one of Ronnie's brothers, obviously, you know, the RPA tournament means so much to me and to my family. But it's much more than that for me. You know, growing up in Spring Valley and playing across the street in the park with Rick and Rod and Ray and Steve Cole, Eddie Hutchinson, Greg George, Rick Ross, Richie Karras, everybody in a 3-mile radius. You know, hearing Miss Wiles holler across at Rick and Rod and Richie Karras' grandmother blowing that whistle to get him in at night. I mean, there's a lot of special memories for that park. And then, you know, the tournament comes along, and just a bunch of Vincent boys playing and arguing over fouls and sitting in lawn chairs and peeing in the creek, and then next thing you know, there's concession stand for the tournament, and there's bleachers for the tournament, and there's news coverage for the tournament, and there's teams from the whole tri-state area, and it just took on a life of its own and became a part of what Spring Valley is.
Because basically when it first started, it was like a big social thing on the weekend. I mean, we went and we played ball and we had a good time, and we had some beverages and I can remember one year having some beverages underneath the bridge. So I mean that was kind of the place you got. But then later on, I mean you had a lot more families, a lot more kids, so all that kind of stuff went away, and it turned into something that was a lot bigger than what we anticipated when it first started.
You know, I bet we didn't have 4 teams, maybe 6 or 8 in that first tournament. It was just kids from right there to what you guys now know today and what it grew into, and then going from just fixing the courts to helping people. And I'll just leave it at that, helping people of all varieties. Just kids, schools, people in need.
We, of course, were familiar with the RPA. I had no idea what the letters stood for. And Rick came in the store one day, and we were talking, and he was very, very close at that time to stopping the whole thing because he just wasn't getting enough response.
The point that hit home for me is one year we had discussed actually moving the court and moving the tournament somewhere else because there were some people in the neighborhood who didn't like the court and thought that there were too many people out there all the time and that it was noisy at night. And Rick called me and said, hey, maybe we need to sit down and talk with your mom and dad about possibly moving this somewhere else. And we gave it serious consideration. And then Bob Wiles stepped in and said, hey, no, this court is Spring Valley. It's as much a part of Spring Valley as all of us. And if you take it out of there, then you take a part of us with it. It needs to stay.
If you were there and you were playing, you were not somewhere else doing something you shouldn't be doing. If no other reason than that alone, not to mention all the people that the funds helped. It also helped just being a part of it.
One of the other things, people think that, it was always like that. The Wattses provided that court, and after a few years, it wasn't many years, it may have been 8 or 10, we started trying to think of a way to come up with more money. Our parents didn't have the money to give you $50 or $100 to go get new rims and new nets, and if my memory serves me correct, that's the whole reason for us starting the RPA basketball tournament, was just basically to get new rims, new nets, and I think new backboards. And then we started trying to doll it up a little bit as far as a little bit of paint on the courts and so forth. But I don't think that first tournament we did, I don't think we were looking to raise $250 maybe, to do what we wanted to do, them poles, and maybe paint the poles, and that was it.
And Debbie and I looked at each other, well, what you need to do is get sponsors. He said, what are you talking about? And I said, people to put up some money, buy signs to put around or whatever, and get the show on the road. And at that point, all the vendors that were coming in of the store, we would hit them up and say, hey, we got this it's a great event going on. It's a fundraiser, and all the money is returned back to the youth of the neighborhood.
When the tournament came back, Rick and I were pretty close at that point, and so I started going out on the trips with him to try to raise money and get donations and things a lot of times. So we just talked the other day about getting in his van and going to businesses and driving around. It seems now like Stone Ages. That's not the way you do things now, but we actually got into his van, drove business to business, and just walked in and said, what can you do for us? And the response was incredible. We talked a lot then about it's surprising how much people were willing to give to guys that just show up, no identification with a piece of paper that says, we're going to do this tournament.
Now
first tournament to the last one played this past year, many special games and memories have been made because of this event. It evolved into one of the biggest and most prominent basketball tournaments in the entire tri-state area. From the start of 8 teams to its peak of 35 teams, it was truly a magical event for everyone.
Disconnection takes its toll through someone's eyes. I see my soul, this optic feed is much to bear while clinging to the thinnest slice of it. I'm headed to the house that isn't there. Ageless, faceless, pull the strings, my body moves. I feel no
Well, I know a few years ago, I don't know how many it was, we had the flood there in Spring Valley.
Do you know how many houses were lost in that flood?
20.
20 houses were lost?
You know, I don't know if many people know this. I know, you know, the RPA got involved with the people right there. You know, the flooding happened from the Spring Valley Bridge up through the courts there. I think we had volunteers there. I think we provided some money to those people. It wasn't much, but we helped them clean out their houses. And that's all your volunteers from the RPA, and you know, then they'd get somebody. But those people were so thankful, you know, that we took the time to come down there and give them a hand. And that was a very trying time, but it hit right there at home. I mean, that was, you know, that was ground zero for us. That was right there.
More backyard than that.
No, you can't.
right.
You can't. And that, you know, we didn't have to ask many people. They heard we were thinking about doing it, and they were stepping up, volunteering. But you know, that's what all the RPA volunteers are all about. I mean,
Do I remember it? Well, it was the day before my birthday that the flood. I mean, I got outside, and the water was up to my knees. I had on just shoes, and the water got up, you know, almost to my knee, and but Aunt Judy was here. But anyhow, yeah, I remember it well. And of course, the tournament was just 6 days later.
Were you all there for the flooding, the year of the flooding?
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
we were. Matter of fact, we were doing something, and we pulled off of it, and went and started cleaning out. You know, Rod and I and Greg, a bunch of us got together and started cleaning out people's houses. You know?
Where the Spring Valley flooded, and all in the name of RPA, which is it's just made some wonderful people.
The valuable portion of that is when things were taken care of anonymously through the efforts of the RPA. Like she said, you know, a kid that might not have a ball glove that wanted to play Little League ball. Suddenly they had a ball glove. You know, those are the kind of things that kid is going to remember. You know, somebody thought enough of me to buy me a baseball glove so I could play baseball, or a pair of tennis shoes so I could play basketball, or whatever. You know, all of those anonymous gifts, and there was a bunch of them. I don't know how much of all that you guys are aware of, but throughout the years, so much stuff went on anonymously.
And there's a lot of things that they have done to help people in the community. I mean, they've taken funds and helped people in other sports. They've helped people with families that had nothing to do with sports. I mean, so they've done a lot of, I mean, do I have one simple thing? No, I mean, I don't. I mean, but I know that the money we raised and what we did always went to good cause. I mean, so that's all I need to know. I didn't need to know who John Doe was that got it.
I mean, I think for me, you know, just what the RPA does in the community, for me as a community member, even more so than as a coach, is just invaluable. There are times that, you know, I've contacted Rick and said, hey, you know, this has happened, and, you know, these people really could use, you know, an extra hand, and
It didn't have to be sport related.
No, it did not have to be sport related. You know, I've never been turned down for anything that I've requested for people in the community. But, you know, to explain to somebody who doesn't live here or doesn't get to experience it, like my husband wasn't from here, so he didn't understand these types of things. You know, just it's something that other communities, they may have something similar but in a different aspect, but it's just so unique to us.
That's really what it's all about. It's all about helping someone else that needs help. Like I say, when we started years ago, it was just a group of guys playing ball, and we never envisioned it to get to something like that. So I'm proud of, you know, knowing where it started at, and knowing how we got there, and knowing where it's at.
Well, I get up early and I don't know why. I got an empty page, new words to write. It's a brand new day, but nothing's new in my life. I got 3 books, it won't buy much. Bought a pack of smokes and some bubble gum, but it's okay, everything's gonna be just fine, fine, fine. So bad, who knew that I could stand to keep a smile and a half-assed town with a girl. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's Saturday, but never mind the name. It's a damn good day for words to play. We hop in the car.
Many things have changed in Spring Valley since 1976. Houses have gone, people have moved, and new generations of kids have invaded the court. Even the children of those who helped make this tournament what it is today. This is a special place for all those who have journeyed here to play, and especially for those of us who grew up in the neighborhood. While many things have changed, I know one thing for sure. This park will be here for many generations to come.
To keep a smile and a half-assed town with a girl as drunk as I.
So late at night, they would pull up in their cars, blare their music, and dance and stuff on the court.
Yeah, they'd turn their headlights on and play their radio and dance. And I've gotten up many a time and looked out the window because I could hear the music, and looked out the window and somebody'd be over there dancing. And I thought, well, they're having a good time. I wasn't one that called the police because it didn't bother me.
Favorite team? My favorite team has to be, hands down, Potty Train. Potty Train was my favorite team. They didn't have the best players on their team, and their players changed through the years. I mean, they came to dodgeball, and so, but they had, their shirts were the best. You know, Stick was always with that group, and so that was my favorite team. I think as they got older, they had to change divisions. If I'm not mistaken, like they may have gone from like A to like B.
Were they in A?
I don't know, but if they ever were, then they had to go down. Whatever division they were in, they had, maybe that's when they split the two.
I think the only thing I ever regret was not just being on a team. Yeah.
I was on a team.
Just being on a team.
Do you have a favorite memorable team that's ever played in the RPA?
Definitely the Potty Train. I'm going to guess probably 94, 95, somewhere in that area. Started playing together. Mark Ash, and Bo Miller, Mike Sellers, and myself. There were others along the way that kind of came and gone, but that's kind of the core that played together. And We had fun. We played hard. We played rough.
To see the good.
And I didn't know her back then or anybody. I came into it. I've been in the family 30 years, and that's what this is, a family. But there is, it has changed so many people. No matter where you come from, you know.
Made you a better person, right?
I've learned to put up with you.
No, you take a 20-some-year-old kid. We basically say, hey, we're gonna have a tournament down here. Everybody puts in whatever it was, and I can remember the pole nearest to the river. You'd go up there and dunk on the basket, and the pole would spin around. So you had to stop the game to straighten the pole up. That's how it was. So needless to say, we got used to straighten the pole up, because every time you dunk on it, it'd spin around and you'd have to fix it. And that's the type of stuff that we did as far as getting the court up to par with. So number one, nobody wouldn't get hurt. And number two, we would have to stop the game every time somebody dunked on and fix the basket. So
I think it helped develop. If you ever played for Coach Smith or Coach Norris, and if you could play in the Valleyball, then you could play for them, because it was kind of along the same lines. It was rough, and you had to be mentally tough, and you had to learn how to play. You as a crybaby, you didn't last long out there. So it was a great venue for kids to grow up, and it was just awesome. Still is.
After 30 years, the RPA continues to be a strong supporter in our communities and schools, and we plan on doing that for many years to come. The RPA Memorial, the tradition does continue.
Woo! Is this really worth my while? I can't find a reason for love to cramp my style. Well, I have been there time more, at least 13 before. It never fails, love leads me straight to the door. But I love a call, what love's done to me. I will rise, I'll reach for the skies. You'll be so sorry, this I swear, yeah. All I ever tried to do for you was to care, but it won't matter what you've done. To clear my mind. Yes, I know in time my light's going to, it's going to, yeah, it's going to shine. So now I have preparation to devise a new life. I'm back to stage one, but what's done is done. I've came on. For you is to care, but it won't matter what you but it won't matter what you've done. I'll overcome. I'll overcome. I'll overcome. I'll overcome.
Change is hard to grasp a lot of times. Sometimes the cause of changes isn't good, like people moving away or houses being torn down due to the constant flooding. But sometimes change can be a positive thing. The RPA no longer runs the basketball tournament, but we have turned our community support to our annual golf tournament.
Wobbly soil was my stain. Oh, I tried and I tried. Didn't matter anyway. Perplexed at the bottom with a dream of the top. I guess I'm all too common for the cream of the crop. Gonna lose my mind in this great divide. What is there to say on a hard night's day? The words won't come out right. Had a girl to feel for, had her in a real war, should have seen the signs. Oh, I tried and I tried, just could not make the play. Oh, I tried and I tried, yet watched her slip away. Perplexed at the bottom with a dream of the top. I guess I'm all too common for the cream of the crop. Gonna lose my mind in this great divide. Gonna lose my mind in this great divide. Oh, wishing on a star from the ground. That sound just won't travel far enough to make ends meet. To make ends meet. It's breaking me to make ends meet. Perplexed at the bottom with a dream of the top. I guess I'm all too common for the cream of the crop. Gonna lose my mind in this great divide. Gonna lose my mind in this great divide.
The community coming together
What helped me to do this?
to keep going after year to year and become more aggressive with it, and pretty much taking on that responsibility, that challenge.
That's easy. It first starts with my mom and dad, and then it's in my family. That's why I did it. That's why I stayed involved. My dad and my mom were always involved in the community, and I watched my dad do it, and that's what that's just it. I just took off with it, and it's just, it's a good feeling to know that you're doing something for your own community.
One of the questions we asked Rick was why he did the RPA, like why he ever
Volunteered.
to do it, because it's a lot of work and it's year round, and the answer he told us was his mom and his dad and his brother Rod, and he said he was pretty much inspired by you and Papa Wiles, and
We volunteered for everything. We did.
Could know how that one little park has changed so many people's lives. They could do that in their community. And you don't have to have them. You don't have to be rich, because her parents was far from it.
It just takes people getting together for a good cause, and that's what's happened from the beginning. all the way to the end, the hours, selfless hours spent by so many people to keep this rolling all these years.
And I am so proud to be still here, still trying to help and guide and, you know, be as good to them as I can and probably try to be as good to everybody else.
I'll be proud of. You know, I've moved away since, and I know Rick and them have done such a great job with all this and the fundraising and how it's helped the Spring Valley and Westmoreland community. And, you know, you can take the boy out of Spring Valley, but you can't take Spring Valley out of the boy.
It's always been one person that's really kind of kept it going, you know, all those years, that kind of coordinated all of those sponsors. But if he did not have the help of everybody else involved, then it just would never have been what it was. I mean, there's so many people that contributed and, you know, to make things happen. All your mediators, all the people that sponsored. I mean,
we had a lot of fun even though we were working. And it was like you couldn't wait to get to that point, because we had the back room stock full of all kinds of stuff. It's like, oh gosh, it's getting close, it's getting close. You know, we were really excited about it. And we miss that. I mean, we miss that a lot. We miss a lot of it down there. But it's just one of those things.
We were so grateful to the Wattses for what they did, and then we utilized it. We used it. I mean, you know, I don't utilize it now, but growing up and even out of school, I played in those tournaments, and it just grew. I mean, everybody you ask, a lot of them played in it, but you know, we saw the need at first just for the courts, and then, you know, what the RPA blossomed into as far as going from the courts to helping people. You know, it's infectious. I mean, you only have to be around it for a little while and want to be involved.
As the old saying goes, you get out of anything what you put in it. And that, I believe that firmly.
Remember the two names that I told you in the beginning? Jefferson Park and Ronnie Paul Angelo. Jefferson Park has been here for 60 years, 70 years. That's the name of the park. Ronnie Paul Angelo, as I guess you all have figured, is the R.P.A. Memorial. In 2005, the R.P.A. petitioned the Greater Huntington Parks and Recreation District to rename the park, and with a unanimous vote, it was renamed R.P.A. Park.
Sunrise, wake me up, shedding sheets of comfort. I rise reluctantly enough. These tired eyes still yearn for sleep, to face this day to come scares this soul to pieces. And if I can't swim this life that I dove in, could you bring me in? 'Cause I'm hoping that they'll let me slide. I'm needing just a little time to sort out everything inside. I'm sure that I'll be alright. My heart will mend just fine if they can let me slide. Surprise to come. Each day brings forth more to learn from, and the skies above give God and faith to lean on, and that's why I know to stray would be to die. But my life hangs low. It's tough sometimes, but I'm hoping that they'll let me slide. I'm needing just a little time to sort out everything inside. stars above measure up to everything that I know, and there's more to come of what I can and will do, and that's why I know that I don't know a thing, but for now I hope that I'll have a break, 'cause I'm hoping that they'll let me slide. I'm needing just a little time to sort out everything inside. I'm sure that I'll be alright. My heart will mend just fine if they can let me slide away from here where I belong, away from what I've lived in wrong, away from here, just one more chance. I need it, I need to, 'cause I'm hoping that they'll let me slide. I'm needing just a little time to sort out everything inside. I'm sure that I'll be alright. My heart will mend just fine if they can let me slide. Sunrise, wake me up.
Looking back over everything we've been through with the RPA, it's hard to believe it's been 30 years since this train started rolling. To me, I believe it has touched or benefited everyone who has been along for the ride. From the basketball court in the beginning, to the tournaments, to the playground, is a gathering place that has touched us all. The greatest part of the past 30 years is the people. The people who worked the tournaments and the ones who played in it. There have been so many special bonds and great friendships made because of this park. Many of us grew up here playing football, baseball, and of course basketball. We've made so many memories as a kid and adults that none of us will ever forget. And I foresee many more generations starting their own traditions like we did. The RPA Memorial is still very active in the community through our annual golf tournament. We are still raising money for our local schools and surrounding communities. But one thing is for sure, there will never be another RPA basketball tournament like the one we all did for 20 years. Those were special times at a special place with some very special people. And the memories, well, they'll last forever.